Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of Gill Time Ride. I can't believe it's episode 3 already. Exciting time to be alive. Today we have the sexy, the one and only, the Central American gangster. Also talked about him, mentioned him in the first podcast. Is also known as Papi Love. Mr. ALLAN Sierra.
The father of love. That's right.
The father of love. What's cooking, homeboy?
Not much. What's good, Karn?
Dude, just setting up. I'm a little down from the weather. Yeah, by the way, sorry about not to my viewers and my listeners. I apologize about not posting this past weekend. I'm a little under the weather. Still have a little bit, but the show must go on.
That's the price of fame.
Dude, that's the price of fame, this motherfucker. Yeah, dude. So, anyways, you ready to get this started or what?
Let's do it.
All right, so to give the listeners a little bit of background, this is another one of my. This is actually my best friend from college. I was also his best man at his wedding. We can go through a little. We can go through how bad of a best man I was for sure.
You're fine, Karn. I mean, given the circumstances.
For sure. I think there was just. Anyways, yeah, we'll get to that. That's the first thing we'll talk about. Let me just go through a little bit of the background. So yeah, met him in college. I met him within the first week of college, and it just hit it off. Just, you know, we were both foreigners. I could tell he was a foreigner. I was like, he's probably some fucking Mexican cholo out there, just, you know, just fucking doing his thing. I was like, I don't know. I think I'll get along with him. And then I think the very first interaction we had was like, we were doing calculus homework. Do you remember that, Alan?
I do remember that. And the freaking, the long table they had at the dorm in the lobby.
Yeah, man.
I remember that.
It was like the very first thing I said to him was like, I've always been a competitive individual. And I was like, oh, you didn't finish your homework yet? I already did that shit, boy. Yeah, that's how I made most of my friendships.
And I literally was like, I don't care.
Yeah, no. Alan just had this attitude of like, all right, bitch, shut the fuck up. Get out of my way, dude. I don't even want to be friends with you. I was like, well, okay, that went well. But anyways, then, yeah, our friendship built up. We had other interactions, you know. We talked about, like, one of the first things was just how bad of a roommate he had. Like, very first roommate.
Oh, that's right.
I don't want to name names because, like, if he ever watches it.
Yeah, no, let's not.
But
we'll just leave it like that.
Bro, it's just
whoever knows, they know.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, this shit that he did was just so dumb and God.
Yeah, it was.
But goddamn, what the hell is that noise that's coming in the background? It's so weird. Anyways. So one of the very first things that the reason why I even like became friends with him, or one of the very first things that like I was sort of attracted to your personality wise was like the very first conversation that we had was sort of like about corrupt governments, you know, like, and you know, I've always been like a big conspiracy theorist type of dude and like researching that crap. But like that's the thing, like corrupt government on a third world country level and a second world country level is like much more different than it is at like a first world country. You know what I'm saying? Like the things that go on like on a corruption level from like, you know, whether like something that goes on in India versus something that goes on in America is like worlds apart, you know, like, and that's one of the reasons why we hit it off so well.
I just feel like the main difference, I feel like second and third world countries, we know, like everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's out there. But first, like in the States, you don't know until it's put out. It's not like a given, you know, like you still have that, oh, maybe not.
Well, there's
They
two
follow the
there's two
rules.
components to it. Like, first of all, within the American government, like the corruption that goes on that high level does not affect you on a day-to-day basis. That's the thing. Whereas, like, I mean, if we take it as an example with us, right? Like, I mean, my dad as like at a like a social economic standing, my family does pretty well in India. And like just a very simple, very good example is like, you know, we got stopped by the cops, the Indian cops, and like my dad had a good relations with like the
Yeah, the
commissioner.
police, like
Yeah.
the whatever their boss, so you can just get away with it. Or
Exactly,
something like
exactly. We're just like, yo, here's a card, and it's like, you want me to call your boss right now? And then they're like, oh no, you go ahead. Yeah, you get the fuck out of here. But then like, if you didn't have good relationships with the government, then you're kind of screwed. And you're like, and that's the thing, like they'll charge you for crap that like you never knew existed, like that, and that's how like it's like a double. It's like a double-ended rod just getting shoved up your asshole, you know, for the common dude.
I feel like with your family and my family is like pretty. I wouldn't say famous, but like some people know you.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And definitely the government knows who you are, so
Yeah.
they can mess with you easier if they really wanted to. You know.
Well, but then it also helps you. It helps you being.
Yeah, is it like you said? It's a double way. Like
it's double-edged sword. But
it can really screw you. Like if you don't play it the right way, or you don't do whatever they want you to do, or something like that.
Correct. It's very like if something were to happen like within the town, or like you live in the capital of Honduras, Tegucigalpa, and like you're one of the I know that you're one of the big honchos when it comes to transportation, and it's like.
Okay, yeah.
But the thing is that like the first people who are gonna get screwed over is you. Like, you know, when the tax comes in or whatever, like they're like, oh, the business owners have to do this, and this, and you're like, oh, okay, we cannot have a sustainable business through all this crap that's going on, and but okay, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. All the corrupt shit, like that's gonna be.
I feel like you're just getting way too ahead.
Yeah, I'm getting way too ahead. But anyways,
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get there.
You're the boss.
Yeah, dude. We'll get there. We'll get there, bro. We'll get there. So let's go back to a little bit of how I was your best man and how I screwed up all that crap. So I'll give you a little bit of. I'll try to defend myself a little bit, all right? Like, being the best man and all this bullshit, I feel like is a very Christian-esque wedding. You know what I'm saying?
Very
like,
not Indian thing to do.
Very not Indian thing to do. I mean, we do have best men, but the duties and job description is, like, completely different. You don't...
To be honest, Carn, it's all Americanized. Like, literally, I feel like it became very mainstream because of America media.
Oh, for sure. Like, I was like, first, okay, let's be real. Did your grandfather have a best man? I never actually asked you this question, so I'm actually very curious.
I don't know. I know my dad did. I don't know if my grandfather did, probably.
Well, your dad came here to university, correct? So he was already a little bit Americanized.
University. He just went there to learn English.
Oh, okay.
Just get like a 1-year course or something like that. I don't even know what they called it, but definitely not college.
Yeah. Okay.
He did it here.
That's fair. But one of the things that I, as a best man, that I fucking screwed up on was I didn't have the ring, bro. I didn't fucking have the ring. And then not only that, but like, you didn't remind me that I was supposed to like have the ring. Okay.
That was pretty bad. That was like the worst thing.
I know. I get it. All right. That was really bad. That threw us off. I didn't have my shirt. There's just so much shit. I was unprepared.
Right. I totally forgot about that. I mean, the shirt was pretty fine. Like that was pretty fine to find.
But we got lucky though. We got lucky. We were the mall was right next to the hotel, and we were able to just go out and get that, and that was good. Like, we got lucky in that aspect for sure.
You told me early enough so that we could do something about it.
Yeah. But then that's the thing. Like,
you flew in here like 2 days before the wedding.
Yeah, something like that.
I think.
I made it. All I remember is that I fucking made things very difficult, and I was like, I should not be doing this for him. And I was like, oh god. But not only that, but
I mean,
I kind of blame you, bro. So, like low key, you should have been like, Karn, these are your job duties. This is what you need to remember, okay? Because I was just walking around. I was like, what am I supposed to do, dude? What is my job duty? Except for the speech. I had my speech ready.
The thing is, since I knew like you, okay, obviously you guys were gonna fly in here.
Yeah.
Everybody, pretty much. Even my Honduran friend, he flew in here like a week before the wedding, I think.
Yeah,
that's the Asian guy, Nosomi.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then my brothers too. So everybody was flying in. So it wasn't like I was expecting anything from anybody.
Yeah.
I know. Just bring your stuff, have your pants, have your shoes, have your shirt. I'll give you the tie, and that was it.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Just the way it went down, it's just like, god damn it.
It was just chaotic. Chaotic. I knew it's always chaotic. I feel like every wedding, it's like that.
Yeah.
In every, like, I've talked to many people, every wedding has one thing that goes bad.
In this case, it was the wedding ring.
This case was the wedding ring.
I mean, it didn't really throw us off. We still made it on time, I think, right? Like, I don't.
We did. The only reason the rings made it on time was because the preacher, the pastor, came in late.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that's why the rings came in on time. But if it wasn't because of that, we were gonna ask someone else for their rings and just use them for the ceremony and then get hours minute of the
wait, that was the thing? You were just gonna use someone else's rings?
That was the backup plan, yeah. So I told the wedding planner as soon as we got there, I was like,
dude, I didn't even know that.
So I screwed up. I forgot the rings at home, and she's like, okay, don't worry about that. It's like, if you were gonna forget anything, that was the thing, because like you can get any rings like from my parents, from any of the guests, and just like, oh, we'll just use them for the ceremony and the pictures, and that's it. And then it's a good solution,
dude. That's a good solution for our listeners out there, dude. If you guys fuck it up out there, just borrow rings from somebody and make it work, dude.
Yeah. I mean, they're too small to.
That's fair.
Make a difference in the pictures. So.
That's true. Like, how would you even notice?
And the actual picture of putting the rings on, you can remake that. I mean, it's just a close up of your hands. So.
That's true.
It doesn't really matter.
That's true. Dang, dude.
Yeah. I mean, that was the only good thing the wedding planner did on the day of the wedding, because everything else was a mess.
Yeah. And another shout out that I have to give you. During this, he even spent his freaking his honeymoon with a. Wait, did you go on another honeymoon after? No, did you?
No, I didn't. I actually did. No, I actually did. We went to the beach like the first week of January, I think.
Okay. So you did something after that.
We did take a different trip, afterwards.
Okay. So the initial honeymoon trip, like the day that they got married, the next day, or the date, was it the next day?
It was like 5 hours after the wedding. Literally, like crazy. After the wedding was over, because
these guys are too generous. So we had the fucking wedding, and then 5 hours after that, we got up hella early in the morning. His parents. I gotta give out a shout out to Mr. Sierra and Mrs. Sierra.
Yeah, Mr. Sierra, he's
the best.
He's always like, I'll hook you up with your friends. Don't worry about
that. He is the best, dude. Everything, like, from when we got to that airport to getting us to that flight, like we used like the government guards to get us through quicker. Like everything was done. Whatever.
Don't even. He's like a cousin, like a second degree cousin or something like that.
A second degree cousin.
Don't even. You're making it sound like we control the whole country. Don't. It's not at that level. It's not at that level.
But yeah, no, I just have to do. They treated us with so much love, and just like the things that they had to do, and not only that, but you guys. Like, I gotta give a shout out to you and us three for like 5 hours after your wedding. You took me. You took me, terrible. Andrew Cole Sosa, and Scoops to.
Everybody went.
It was just the 6 or 7 of us.
Everybody. Andrew went too.
Yeah. But like everybody, they took us to this like weird, like not weird, a great remote, remote. destination. Like it's a remote to anybody out of Honduras.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you have to take a flight into this island, and it's like the most beautiful thing. Like the water is super blue. I mean, we had like a shitty day there. For sure, like the 2 or 3 days that we were there, But if like I saw some of the pictures, wait, what's it called again? What's the island called?
So here in Honduras we have like, instead of the states we have like departments. That's what we call them. So the department is called the Bay Islands.
Oh but the island itself. What was the island?
Island itself, it's Roatan.
Roatan. If you guys want to look up, like, if you guys don't want to go to these, like, freaking, the Cabo and all these, like, fucking, these, all, like the destinations that everybody knows, go hit up Roatan, Honduras. One of the best places that I've ever seen. And, like, we spent, like, what, $300 for the weekend, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so we spent...
And it was, like, it included the flight, the hotel, and the food.
Correct. And drinks. Unlimited drinks.
Yeah.
That's the important part for the listeners, bro. So it's 3 days. All right. Go look it up. It's like the bluest water you can see, like in the pictures, like we got to see a little bit of it. Super clear. Like, it's like one of Alan's uncles said that this is the gem of Honduras. So, and it was true, it really dude. It's like, it's beautiful. Though the sand beaches are super nice. Like $300 for unlimited food, the flight that takes you there, and just save up some goddamn money and go there, dude.
From the capital, though, I feel like if you're flying from the States, it's probably
a little bit more. Like, let's say, I think it's like, like, what about if you flew out from Miami? Like, that's like what, 500 maybe? I think for the whole thing.
I mean, if you do like Miami to the capital, and then you add those $300, it would be probably like 800 total. I don't know.
Oh wait, hold on. I thought they said that there's a flight that goes from that island.
There's a flight directly there, but I don't know how much that is.
Anyways, I'm just saying, if you want a different fucking destination, go to Roatan, Honduras. That shit was lit. I'm definitely gonna come back. Like, there's no doubt about it. Even like, so me and my wife, Paulina, we were like,
you said you wanted to do that for your honeymoon.
I did.
don't think she's gonna do that, though.
Dude, she is. She's actually down. She saw it. She's actually super down.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, well, it's a tie between like either going to Thailand or like,
You said something about Singapore or something like that.
Singapore, yeah, dude. Singapore would be lit. I don't know if you've ever gone to Singapore, but Singapore's pretty lit. It's nice, dude. It's nice.
But yeah, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I've seen some pictures and videos about that.
It's just like, I mean, Singapore is not. It's more of like they have like these what's it called, like the lines where you're like gliding on lines or whatever. I think you've done that before.
Zip lining.
Zip lining, thank you. They have like really cool zip lines, and like they have cool jungles and shit like that, and like you can visit the whole of Singapore in like one day. It's like a small ass island.
It's really small.
Yeah, and everybody in I don't know if you know this or not. Like, my dad actually illegally immigrated there for the first country ever illegal, and then like
he told me that.
And then even then, you have to, like, once he started to register as a citizen or whatever, started paying his taxes, whatnot, he had to take, like, every single citizen in Singapore has to join the army and has to take, like, training courses or whatnot, because the country's so small.
So it's like Israel, too.
Yeah. Do they have the same thing in Honduras?
No, not Honduras. No, Israel.
Israel, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they do that. But that's not because they're tiny, that's because they're getting screwed by everybody else, so they need to get rid of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, what do you expect? Yeah. Like, you kicked out a bunch of people from their homes, and you're like, all right, bitches, I'm gonna take over this place. And it's like, well, yeah, you kicked out, like, fucking thousands of families, if not millions, and then you're like, yeah, so I'm gonna take over now, and this is my shit, all right? Like, yeah, no shit, everybody's gonna be coming after you. Like, that you just, like, screwed over people who've been living there for 2,000 years, bro. Since biblical times.
I know. I don't actually know their history, like their modern history, that much.
Yeah.
So I couldn't comment on that, but I just know it's a mess.
I mean, regardless of if you know its history or not, it's not like like what's going on in the Middle East is not necessarily like, oh, it's like one group of people is fighting a whole another group of people. No, it's like it's a shit show of like all the countries with amongst each other having
It's like Smash Bros.
Yeah, it's a shit show, dude. It's insane.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. Another thing, like, what kind of, I'm gonna try to lead into another conversation that we've had before, is like how America likes to dig its claws into every aspect of every goddamn country's business.
Yeah.
And I'll give you. I actually found this out just recently that ISIS was actually started. I know that you're a big man of like history, and you love especially like World War I and World War II history and all that crap. Like,
yeah, World War II. That's my jam.
And here, I'll give you a little piece of information here, and this was like after World War II. I'm assuming, but like when the American government was trying to not like the Soviets and the Americans were not buddy back then. We all know that. The Cold War was a great example of that, right? And not only that, but like ISIS was started because of America, and I'll tell you how it started. So I just found this out that the American government was trying to work with ISI. So ISI is the intelligence agency within Pakistan. So you know how you have the CIA in America? The ISI is that of Pakistan. So they were working together so they could build up an army in Afghanistan, and then they would train this military so that like because back then the Soviets were actually trying to take over the middle, like the Middle East, or like they were trying to make its way down, and the first place they started was Afghanistan. So Reagan, the President Reagan, had gone out and he had worked with the Pakistan intelligence agency. He literally like trained a bunch of these fucking soldiers, and then at this time, which was a great idea, like it threw down the Soviets and they were not alive anymore, right? But the thing is that once they had taken down the Soviets, America just dipped. They just left, and then they just like now like the stupidest thing is that they never were like, okay, don't do any bad things now, guys. Okay, we trained you. Well, no shit. Like, I don't know if you know this, but like Afghans are pretty goddamn strong warriors. Like, if you look at throughout time, Afghanistan has not been taken over very many times. Like only a handful of times. Like the British had a very hard time invading Afghanistan. It was one of the hardest things they ever did. Secondly to that, like Sikhs, like we're proclaimed pretty good as being good warriors because we were one of the only people from India to ever invade Afghanistan. Like that was tough shit back in the day, because everything leading up to that is like through mountains and all that bunch of shit. Like they're tough ass people. And no shit, like you fucking caused this whole mess, and they're like, oh yeah, we didn't do any of this. No, we're not part of this shit.
What I knew was that like how Bin Laden was like their number one enemy for since 9/11.
Correct. Well, America's enemy, you mean?
Yeah, America's enemy.
Yeah.
And how
this new guy
I knew CIA trained him.
Yeah, correct.
So
that is
like
correct.
Super ironic, like.
Yep.
You gave him everything he knows.
Yep.
And that's why he's like he knows how you work, so that's so much easier for him.
Correct. And it's like the stupidest thing is like they like you work with these people and you know that they might like first of all, I can't remember what type. There were certain types of people within Afghanistan. It was like the conservative people, and that's the people that they trained. And that, because those were the only ones that were gonna turn out and come out and fight for their country, like, because they like it worked for Afghanistan too, because it was like, yeah, if we don't stand up and we don't let the Americans come and train us, we're fucked too, like the Soviets are gonna come in, they're gonna fucking take over. Yeah. But the thing is that at some level they made them too powerful. Like, it's just so dumb. I don't know, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because very recently, the ISIS leader was killed. I can't remember. I can't remember his name.
President. Was it the president that they were talking about?
Yeah, whatever. Like, I can't remember his fucking name.
Like, they bombed. Like, he killed himself, I think, though.
Yeah, he took his children. Apparently, he took his children and he went into this tunnel. Up. Yeah, and everything. Blew himself up with the kids and everything, and the dog chased him. Yeah. The dog, and fucking Trump, dude. He's so funny. He on Twitter, he posted the dog that got injured that chased him down the tunnel.
He's a joke, honestly. Like,
you have to admit, he's crazy.
You could get into, like, social media and politicians nowadays. Like, it's terrible.
I think that another thing is, like, he's the first one to do it at such a level. That's the thing, dude. That's the crazy part. I don't think that. First American. And that's the thing. Like, if honestly, I'm not a fan of Obama, but like, I really wish that Obama was the one to start the trend. All right, he was a very well spoken dude.
I think he actually did because I've seen videos. I don't know. There was this Netflix show. What's the name? And he would interview famous people like Kanye West and Obama and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
David Letterman or something. My next guest is
dude. Okay, no. That's
like that.
no. Yeah, I get that. He would go in a lot and participate in a lot of shows like comedy skits or whatever. That
No. What like he said his like one of his secrets to winning the elections was social media. Like he actually.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Used, like Instagram or something like that.
Yeah.
To make himself put himself out there. You know.
No, I agree with you. He was one of the.
But he didn't express his opinion on Twitter like freaking Trump.
Trump, yeah. No, I think that I get what you're saying. Like he used his like political speeches and whatnot, and he would put them as advertisement on through social media. Yes, I agree that he was the first one to do that. But I'm saying like as updating the country on what's been going on like political affairs, that like Trump was the first one to do that. Ridiculous. Yeah, no, that like Trump is the first one to ever.
And now the guy, the president here in El Salvador.
Yeah.
He does that now too. Like,
oh, he started the trend for sure. You got to give him credit, bro. Now every president after that is gonna do that.
The guy from El Salvador, he even like gives orders by Twitter.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like he mentions wait. So and so, you go and like get rid of this guy right now, like fire this guy right now.
Are you serious?
Then they comment, I'm super serious. And then the guy whoever he gives the order to, he replies and he's like, "It's already done, my president," or something like that. It's ridiculous.
No. Holy shit! Wait, hold up. What type of a government is it sort of communist? Is it socialist? What is it?
No. It's.
Is it democratic?
They're democratic.
Damn.
But like.
So wait, but then how? Like, wait. Without having a. Hold on. I'm a little confused. How does the president of El Salvador just go like, yo, we gotta get this dude, but then gets him without a trial? If it is a democratic system.
I'm not talking about like, I'm just talking about like firing him. So
like if they found out that he's a corrupt employee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like
that's
it's like
fair.
the politicians in El Salvador, like in Honduras, and I'm pretty sure in India and pretty much every other third world country.
Yeah.
They've been there, like they've been congressmen for years and years and years and years. You know.
Correct.
And then they put their family into the system by hiring them to manage whatever organization for the government or something.
Correct.
Something like that.
There's a word for that too. I can't remember what the word is right now. I
remember the word. I don't even know it. I don't even remember in Spanish, and I'm not gonna know what it's in English. But whatever, that's besides the point. They like this guy would be like straight up like, "Hey, you better fire this guy because he put his nephew to work in there, and he's not qualified for it. So get rid of him."
Gang, dude, gang. That's cool. That's cool shit.
He's savage.
Shout out.
He's savage.
Shout out to El Salvador.
Shout out to El Salvador.
Bro, but that's crazy, dude. It's just like, I don't know, man. Like you know this too. Even within like my own state within India, like where my dad's from, like in Punjab, like both sides. Like let's say you have like the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. Like I'm just giving an example. That's not what they are in India, but they are both working together to suppress the people, and that's like everybody knows about it, but at the same time nobody wants to get up and talk about it either, because when the election turns come around, they pay off these people, and it's big sums of money, and these poor farmers or whatever, they're like, yeah, I don't want to talk bad about anybody right now because I get fucking money. I get free money. Because when they give you money, they're like, yo, go and vote for me in the ballots. And sometimes it's not even like through money. They'll give out blankets. They'll give out food. They'll be like, we'll get your children all set up and shit like that. Like,
I feel like
it's messed up, dude. It's messed up.
Isn't it like on top of that they get like death threats or something like that?
Well,
or they're putting themselves in danger by not accepting it.
Well, they do. Some of them do get death threats for sure. I think that the death threats mostly come from, like, let's say you have the village leader. he's the one that's getting the death threats. I don't, because the thing is that if you're threatening like fucking every single citizen, that's gonna get out pretty quick, you know. But if you're only threatening one guy who controls most of the village, you're set. You know, then it's like, okay, you can play a little bit of ball and you can get away with it, and then you're good, right? But not even like, even like a lot of people in within the Punjabi culture don't even know that. They don't even know the ins and outs of what's going on from a daily perspective, and like what type of a government got him to that place in the first place. Like no one really correlates and puts two and two together, you know, like it's crazy, man. Like, I mean, like now that you like you yourself, like you've gone through and you've studied quite deeply into, like, you've always been interested in history, and you've seen the type of people and what types of governments have led to that disaster. You know what I'm saying? Like, the more and more you keep taking powers away from the people, the more and more you have these fucking people, the morons and psychopaths, like, that lead countries into these mass, whatever you want to call it, like, destruction.
Yeah, I feel like for example,
or corruption. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it depends. I would divide it into two.
It's hard to say that.
Two different ways of getting that power.
Like within Honduras right now.
You have but okay. So let's put, for example, Hitler. You know, super famous case, whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't take the power away by people by just oppression. Like, he actually won their hearts.
Oh, of course. No. See, okay. So I know I complete what you're saying. Like that. Like there's a big like okay, fascism and communism. They are both completely different things. Like communism is when, like, a government, you know, like high officials or high ranking, or you know, like people who have a lot of money are the ones who start to control the masses below. Fascism is when, like, the whole country is like for itself. Their whole thing is vested towards, like, you know, like, oh, we're gonna do better for the country, and that's how it all starts. But the thing is that, like, how Hitler, you're right, like, he won people's hearts. That was a crazy thing.
He was the only one who was willing to stand up against I think it's the United Nations back in the day, or whatever they were called back in the day.
Correct.
Yeah, he was the only one who wanted to make a difference for Germany, and that's why he won everybody's heart, and then he became super powerful and a dictator, pretty much. But
yeah. But man, you gotta give it to him. He was smart as hell. He was smart as hell.
He was super smart. I mean, honestly, every single one of those guys that gets that power, they're super smart.
Yeah. And
like, even in these countries, in modern day, like, you have to be super smart in the way you buy everybody, or in order to control them.
Of course. But he was just very smart about it. Like, he knew what was going to click with the people's hearts and people's minds.
Of course.
Because he's like, okay, so what's the problem right now? We got a bunch of poor people. And then he's like, well, we got to blame it on someone.
Yeah.
Like the Jews. And he's like, look at them. They have all the power. They got all the money. Which is still the case today. But point being, like, he just resonated. And he was like, he was able to get, like, he could play the victimhood card on everybody. Or play it on himself.
And the other thing is, he actually believed it, so it was easier to convince people.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. No, you're right. But that's the thing, to believe in such a ridiculous idea. I mean, not only that, but, like, the solutions that he came up with. That's the thing. Ridiculous. You could believe in ideology and then, like, be like, okay, so how are you gonna solve the problem? Well, he was like, okay, let's just kill the motherfuckers, or, you know.
Yeah, that was way too much.
That's the thing. Like, you can, like, if I were to be like, yo, you know, like, I don't really agree with Jews and how they run the country or whatever, but, like, what's my solution? I'm not gonna go out and kill them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that was one very extreme situation, one crazy way of putting the outcome. Another thing on a side note I want to put out to the listeners. Sorry, Alan, dude, I have to talk about this. So we, like, second week into school, we take personality tests, all right? And you know where I'm going with this.
I swear, Clark, you're the only person that like, keeps memory of this.
Bro.
I feel like nobody else from squad ever
Yeah, I know.
Goes back and thinks like, oh, whatever the personality test, whatever.
Okay, I'm gonna explain once I go through. I'm gonna explain exactly why I remember that. All right, and I'll give you. And maybe I'm the psychopath here that thinks this way. All right, I don't fucking care. So let me put it out. So we took this like personality test or whatever. I came out INTJ. You were like an INTP or whatever.
I don't even remember what it was.
So anyways, so his that's another thing. Psychology is a department that is questionable, and I'll go into that in another podcast. But anyways, so anyways, he got the same personality type as Hitler. All right, that's so once you're done taking this test, it'll tell you all the good people that have the same personality type, and it'll tell you all the evil people that have had the same personality types. All right,
it's not good or evil. It's just like famous people. Period.
No, it tells you both. It tells you good and bad.
I mean, it doesn't describe it as bad people with your type of personality and good people. It's just famous people with your personality.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. And I was like, as soon as I looked up this motherfucker's thing, I was like, wait, hold up, whoa. He has the same personality type as fucking Hitler, boy. Hitler.
You gotta watch out for the Honduran.
Okay, and I was like, okay, this motherfucker, he has a lot of power there. This could work out in his favor.
Okay,
I'm like, he could convince the people. All right, not only that, but I also know that you're gonna start a podcast very soon. All right, I know you're starting this army out there, bro. Okay, you don't even have to lie to listeners right now. And okay, and I'll tell you the reason why. I was like, let's say the world were to turn south once again, all right, and these crazy ideas were to be implemented. Of course, I want to be friends with the fucking guy that's about to be the next ruler, bro. Of course, I want to be friends with the dude that's gonna be the next Hitler, my G. Okay, I'm not trying to fuck around. I'll be like, I'll be your secondhand man. All right, I don't have any problem with that. All right.
Okay, real question now. Do you think we're ever gonna get to that level though?
Okay, I'll tell you one. Where are you talking about? Just anywhere in the world, or
no? Just anywhere in the world. Like, is there gonna be? I mean, it's already happening in Africa and stuff like that. But
I'll tell you the closest thing to it right now, in current world right now. It's in India, because he's the guy who's running the country at the moment. He's a Hindu fascist. And not only that, but he's using pretty much this very same tactics. Like, he does not
blaming it on the Sikhs and all that.
Well, no. Not only that, but he doesn't blame. This is the thing. He's kind of reinvented the wheel a little bit. He doesn't blame anybody. All he necessarily does is like he promotes only one religion, and he promotes its one way and how we should all be in this one mindset. So like, I'll give you an example. You know that India has multiple languages. It has multiple cultures.
Yeah.
Many religions have come out of it. Okay. But the thing is that the one predominant one that's lived throughout time is Hinduism. All right. And
it's the most famous one, I feel like.
Well, of course, it makes sense. Like that's predominantly like what the people are.
We call people from India Hindus, not Indians.
Well, you call them Indus.
Yeah, from
Indus.
Hinduism.
But that's the thing. No. I think okay, and I started researching this too. I think you called them Indus is because they at the when they first migrated there, they all lived by the Indus River.
Oh, that could be it too.
So that's the thing. Indus River is a thing, and all the people everybody around the world at the time was calling these people Indus because they were all people of the Indus River. So that's different.
I didn't know that. So wait, the name of the religion comes from that too?
No.
Or is the religion older than that?
I think no. So that's another thing. Hinduism is actually a derivative of another religion, but the people who first migrated to by the Indus River, they weren't Hinduism,
but they were from the original religion.
No, so okay, here, I'll give you a little bit of history. All right, so it was a lot of the whatever you want to call it, like the Greeks and the Roman gods and the people that had migrated from there. That's why you have, like, if you look at Hinduism and you look at those, they have very similar gods. Like,
really? They
have, it's a little bit of different names. There was a new language that erupted, but overall it was like, they had a lot of similarities.
You got the god for the thunder and the god for the water and the god for the...
Correct. And those are, so technically those are the old gods, and not a lot of, there's not a lot of Hindus that know about them. the religion has evolved to by because there's main there you know there's what's because there's two main religious books that they use within within Hinduism now, and those were all the current gods that we see today, like Shiva, Ganesh, and like all these dudes. They're actually from these books, but those books refer to an even older god, the older gods. And the older gods is what is in similarity with the Roman and the Greek gods. So the religion has evolved throughout time, and that's the thing. Like, Hinduism is a religion that is kind of like constantly evolving. Like, that like if you go to a Hindu temple, it's very common that they have like a statue of Jesus Christ in that temple. They have so the whole point of Hinduism is like, if you believe this to be your god, or if you believe something else to be your god, they just like, yeah, come in, you're part of us now.
Accept everybody.
Yeah, they accept everybody, and that's the thing. Like I'll give you an example. So how like Buddhism started in India, but it doesn't exist there anymore. Because they're like you are, so that their whole belief is that what's his name, I can't remember, one of the Buddha. The Buddha, that's within Buddhism, but in Hinduism there is a being that reincarnates every time as and they say that, he has reincarnated as the Buddha, he has reincarnated as this individual, and then they also claim that he reincarnated as Jesus Christ. And that's how they keep pulling in more and more religions.
Okay, yeah. So like their same person is reincarnating into all the different religions.
Correct.
Or what those religions believe to be their main god or whatever.
Correct.
And then that's how they're like, you're the same as us. So just
correct. And it's like
interesting.
Yeah. So that's another thing. So how within the Bible, the second coming of Jesus Christ, that's going to happen very soon, right? So technically speaking, they could. Vishnu. I think that's the thing. I think his name is Vishnu is. I might be wrong. I'm so sorry if I am wrong, but like that's the thing. Some Hindus do believe that, like, and that's how they some of them converted to Christianity, because when some of the missionaries that had gone out, they were very smart. They were like, they studied the Hindu religion very well, and they're like, hey, the next reincarnation that's going to save you from the cycle of life and death is going to be Vishnu, and that's going to be the second coming of Jesus.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's these missionaries, bro. They play it fucking smart, my G. They play it smart.
But how?
It was the Christian missionaries, and so that's a big belief.
The question is then, is there like an Orthodox Hinduism, like an Orthodox group of Hinduist believers, Hinduism believers?
So I'll give you an example, man. So that Hinduism has hundreds of gods, right? So there are certain regions within India that will adhere to or pray to certain gods more than other gods. So, because there's like, so some gods are of like prosperity, some gods are like of land, and so yada yada yada. Correct.
Yeah.
So like depending on where you live,
that was
correct.
Greek culture too.
Correct. They picked their favorites. That's the same exact thing that happened in India. Wherever you lived, wherever it was, you're like, prosperity, happiness. Like there's just these certain gods that are there, and you might pick your top 3, and that's what's on your house, and that's what you pray to. That's very common. Very common. But that's the thing, and that like Hinduism, and that another reason why so many religions came out of Hinduism is because Sikhism came out of it because mainly the hierarchy structure. They believe that if you're born in a certain caste, you can't come out of that caste, which is very messed up. And not only that, but another
down on the whatever society, pretty much.
Correct. Another thing is like if you're born as a woman, you can't be saved. You have to be reborn as a man. So the ideas of reincarnation. So that's the thing. Even like Buddhism, that's why like Buddhism, Sikhism, and Hinduism, the one common thing that they share is reincarnation. I know that's not how do I put this? Not a shared thought amongst Judaism or Christianity.
Yeah, or Christians, yeah.
But correct. But within Eastern religions, that's definitely that's
pretty normal.
That's very normal, and I definitely obviously I believe in it. Like it's mentioned in my Bible. But the thing is that it's a little bit different in the sense that like we still perceive and we still put in an importance on the human life itself, because we say you go through like Jurasi luck. I can't remember what that number is in English terms. It's like, man, fuck, I'm so stupid. It's like certain, I think it's like 65 million. Like you go through 65 million life, different species, different plants, whatever, and then you get the human life. So don't screw it up, because if you do screw it up, you're gonna go through the pain. Correct. You're gonna go through the pain of life and death, and that could be like, like how you guys have hell. That is our hell. Like that is what we want to freaking avoid.
You've told me that, how like.
Yeah.
This is hell for you guys.
Correct.
Pretty much.
Correct. And that's why, like, that's another thing. Like one of the things that made our bond as a friendship stronger from my perspective was how much we talked about religion and how much we could see the similarities. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know. And it like you would like entertain the idea, whereas like some conservative Christians, they'd be like, okay, I don't want to talk about it because I feel uncomfortable. But you would entertain the idea. And I was like, wow, this is unique. I love this, dude.
Just my opinion of that, Karn, is just, and I've told you this before. It's just that you shouldn't just be okay with whatever your pastor, your church leader, whatever the name for that is, whatever title you give it, whatever they tell you. Like, why not question it? I mean, so I've talked with my wife about this multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, is it okay to question or not? Because according to our beliefs, like, these people are chosen by God to be in their positions or leading roles.
Yeah.
So is it okay to question them? If we question them, would we be questioning God, which would be wrong,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I believe in, like, okay, they're humans.
Correct.
Anybody can make mistakes, or like whatever interpretation they want to give themselves to whatever, even the Bible. And then I don't know. It's just like, I don't agree with a single religion being the right religion.
Yeah.
And that.
Sure, I think that's
right ideals.
Yeah, but I think that's where the downfall. That's where the downfall of all these religions happen, dude. Like, if we go back to when like the Catholics, they believed that they were the religion, they were the right ones, so they had a bunch of mass extinctions. Like, they would go out and kill a bunch of freaking people. They would even kill a bunch of other Christians that didn't agree with their Christian ideology.
Okay, and that wasn't just because of that, Karn. Let's be honest. You're talking about the Crusades.
Crusades, yeah.
And that's. Half of that was religion. The other half was money and power.
Well, but they used it in the name of religion, and that's the thing, Alan. So, but that's what I'm trying to say, bro. It's like, that's where, like, if you were to take, if you believe that your religion is the only one that's allowed to exist, and you convince the people of that, that's when you have the problem, bro. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, like even within Sikhism, like, we and like Muslims and Muslims and Sikhs have not had a good history in the past, right? They've killed us, they've massacred us because they believed that, like, Islam is the way, and if you do not adhere to the Quran, then you're like, it's like they would kill off and do whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's just like, how do I put this? Extreme examples of multiple religions taking it too far.
You just become a extremist.
Correct.
I think that's the word for it. Like, you become obsessed with it to a point of incongruency or I would put it as much as stupidity. Like,
correct. And to
be honest.
Yeah. And like, I'll give you've heard this story before, but just for the listeners, I'm like, back when the split between India and Pakistan happened in it was the 1950s, I'm pretty sure. After World War II. And not only that, but like there was a big divide, and this was like where all the anger within what's the movie where the government goes out and they allow a bunch of people to kill each other? What's that movie called again? Like, it's one day. The Purge. The Purge. If you want like a purge type of fucking thing, it's happened in history before. Just go look at the freaking the split between India and Pakistan. How many people died? And like, if you go talk to any person, if you go talk to like my great grandfather, so if you if you go talk to your grandparents, they'll tell you about all the stories and how many people died. Even my wife's mother, her mom So like it'd be my grandmother, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, they're like, yeah, she got killed in that bloodbath too, and it's like they say it so nonchalantly. But anyways, the whole point was like they had a bunch of like anger that like because in India you have Hindus, you have Sikhs, you have Muslims all living together, but they all had some sort of pent up frustration amongst each other, and this was the time that they could take it out. Because it was like when the split had happened, all the Muslims living in India had to go to Pakistan, all the non-Muslims living in Pakistan had to come to India, and this was the perfect opportunity for them to kill each other. But the thing is that my grandfather, he helped a bunch of Muslims. He saved them because a bunch of people from my own village were trying to kill them. And like, and there's a bunch of these stories everywhere. But the thing is that, you know, and I questioned my grandfather. I'm like, because I had just learned about the history amongst Sikhs and Muslims and how brutal it was, the stuff that we had to go through. Because I'm telling you, like the Mughal Empire was crazy back in the day, bro. Because I had just gone through a whole like session of learning that like the Mughal Empire, if you and your family did not like, let's say they were like, if you do not convert to Islam, we are going to murder you and your family. And then what they would do as like a very extreme situation was like they would take the babies away from their mothers. They would toss the babies up in air and have spears ready. And then all the babies would come down to these spears in front of their mothers. And then they would cut off the neck of the babies and they would put them around the mothers' necks as necklaces.
That's ridiculous.
So like I had just gone through learning that this is what Muslims used to do back in the day, and so I had this image that Muslims are certain ways, and they have this, they're crazy motherfuckers. I had to paint this image, and I asked my grandfather, I was like, why did you help these people? Why did you say this? He's like, son, he's like, I'll tell you why this is the case. All right, there's gonna be tyrannical people that are born, and they are never going to disappear off this earth. But I'll tell you one fact. Tyrannical people will use religion to like execute their ideas. They just need a medium to do it. It's not necessarily that all the people believe in him or they're just forced to do it. But the thing is that like there are going to be bad people who all will use, because the thing is that everybody knows that like there's a big majority of people that believe in God, and the medium to believe in God is through religion. You know, and then these tyrannical people know that. They know this fact, and they use religion as their way to conduct their evil. That doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's evil. They're just brainwashed.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah.
That's when I had learned. I was like,
and that's happened even with Christianity too.
Correct. I mean, the Pope, bro. The Pope has like done like not the current Pope, but like the previous popes.
Like also I think it was one of the English.
Oh yeah.
Kings.
What, King James the blah blah
King
blah.
James. I think it's King James. Like
yeah.
He wrote his own interpretation of, well, not interpretation, but like his version of the Bible. There's a King James version. Correct.
Is that where the King James comes from? I thought it came from a different source. I thought like.
What do you mean?
I thought King James was like a freaking saint or something.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I might be wrong. Whatever. But anyways, yeah, you're right. Like even so, how like I forgot what's the sect of Christianity that was formed through the British.
Oh, the Protestants?
The Protestants, correct. Even the Protestants did some bad shit in the name of religion, in the name of God. You know?
I mean,
But that's what atheists, that's the thing. Like, if you, like, I was an atheist growing up, you know? I think I've told you that before, too. I did not believe in God. I was a firm believer in the science. And my main thing is, like, when I had this idea to back up my atheism, I'd be like, look at all the things that religion has done throughout time. Look at all the chaos that it's caused. No. It wasn't religion, mate. It was one individual who used religion to do that.
Yeah.
Be very clear about that. And I think that a lot of people need to learn that, dude. Yeah, man.
It just goes back to not questioning whoever your leader is.
Correct.
That's really what it goes back to, like,
for sure.
Just blindly accepting whatever they tell you, and
You're right,
he must be right. Like, yeah. So
I appreciate your personality for that, dude. I really do. I really do. And not only that, I'd like, oh, bro, here's another one. Now, actually, sorry, now I have another thought coming into my head, and I have to tell you, bro. So, when when the British had come over to India for the very first time, and they had started to, they logged all the weird stuff they had seen. They had seen a bunch of different religions, and even like they started recording a bunch of this stuff, and like they started banning, like when the British government had come in and they had settled and everything, they had taken over all of the empires. And they started banning certain parts of the religion, like certain practices within religions, because they had noticed like whatever they would see, because they called us, like, even Sikhs, right, that would like all in battle gear and the blue form, they called us demoniacs, because they're like, these guys are crazy, dude. Like you shoot them and they keep coming at you, like, and you cut them and they still keep coming at you, and like it was crazy. I just loved how they described. I mean, you're gonna be like, well, a Christian who's reading that would be like, yeah, they are demoniacs. But like when I read that, I'm like,
I know your culture is like a lot about like
being a warrior and like, yeah,
warrior. That's the word. So I know that turns you on and all that.
Oh yeah, dude. I was like, they called me. They were so fucking afraid that they called us demoniacs, boy. Like, you gotta be in a different mindset. But like, and not only that, but we like within Sikhism we had 2 forms of martial arts, and one form of martial arts that was like it was pretty much built for assassination. They banned that. I don't know if you knew that or not, but the British had banned that. And that's how, like, then now only a few people actually were able to carry it through generations and now teach it. But that form of fighting was almost lost because of the British rule.
Yeah, it's just because of fear, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, you want to control them.
Yeah.
So we go back to, just...
Because, like, I mean, you might not believe this, but, like, for me, like, a lot of, like, meditation is very, very, very deeply ingrained within us. Not like this freaking Western meditation that they talk about. That's completely fucking different. But, like, meditation within us, like, it would give you certain powers, dude. Like, I mean, you might not believe this, but, like, there are individuals who are able to levitate and, like, a bunch of this other stuff. And I think that's the reason why they went out and they started banning this stuff. Because they couldn't understand it. They didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. It's this fear of the unknown.
Correct.
Let's put it like that.
Correct. Because this was also a time when, like, education and being, like, being educated in the sciences and the social political studies was a big time, and, like, where everything could be explained. This was all going on at the same time. And, like, this is, and then
so
anything.
There was no explanation, like, physical.
Correct. And they couldn't explain this. They didn't have, they had records of this going on, but they're like, how the fuck do you explain this? Like, this is absolute insanity.
Yeah.
But I loved that. I loved how the British ran into something and they're like, what the fuck is this, dude? What the hell is going on? Oh, man.
I just feel like that whole colonization period of time was pretty interesting.
It was crazy, dude. It was crazy.
Because nowadays, like, you, I don't know, internet and all that, everybody knows about everybody at least a little bit.
Correct. I mean, you could say that those were the prerequisites to what is today's modern society. Like, if the British hadn't, like, I will say though, like, all the road, like the current, like, structures of roads and buildings and how to plan out a city, it was thanks to the freaking British, dude. You have to give them. They were good organizers.
It's the Romans though.
The Romans. Oh, sorry, you're right. The Romans, who then later on the British adapted, and the British were the ones that expanded. The Romans just held their empire.
And the Portuguese.
Wait, who was the first one to do it? I feel like someone stole it from someone. There's no way that, like...
So, America, here to America, was the Spaniards.
The Spaniards, okay.
Yeah.
You mean Central America and South America?
And North America, too.
I did not know that.
I mean, Mexico is North America to us, not to you guys.
Oh,
but
yeah,
to me,
that's right.
Is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. You're right.
I think also the states, though, because there's this, what's the name of this city? I went there. It's in Florida. Hold up. I'll look it up.
It's in Florida.
First city in the
Bro, you remember? Do you remember Tiger Bomb? You remember the stuff that I used to give you after like soccer?
No. Wait. What?
You remember the special ointment?
I think so. I think I put it once.
Yeah, dude, I'm using that on because I'm like, dude, I have like a major headache today. Good God, and I'm like applying that on my nose, and Kasim got me sick. Saint Augustine.
I think that was from a Spaniard too. I'm pretty sure.
Sounds pretty Spaniard. Augustine.
Ponce de Leon in 1513.
Good God, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But, yeah, I think the Spaniards were the first ones. Actually, the guy was Portuguese. Was he? Yeah, Christopher Columbus was Portuguese.
I did not know that.
And
wait, Christopher Columbus was Portuguese?
Oh, he was actually Italian.
Wait, was he... Well, hold up. Was he actually invading or, like for Portugal?
No. So, he was Italian. I think he went to Portugal first to ask their kings and queens to like, oh, can you pretty much pay for this expedition? I want to get to India.
Yeah.
The other way around. I think it was like
he was an idiot, but I get it.
To the east, something like that.
Yes. He just took the wrong directions, but
they were like, no, we're not gonna pay for it. So then he went to Spain to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella.
Interesting.
And they paid for it, and so he wasn't in the attempt to colonize. I think he was just like, oh, let's find a better route.
He was just out to explore, bro. He was out to explore.
And he came to Honduras and all that crap. So.
All right, gang. I mean, he took the wrong direction, but he definitely found gold everywhere.
He found something. Yeah, he just stole it from everybody. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah. It happens, man. It happens.
History repeating itself,
boy. All right, bro. Let's get off this historical crap and corruption of government. Yeah. Well, actually, one last thing. Did you watch that the Joe Rogan podcast that I sent you with Edward?
I started it. I actually started today because I remember like, oh, Carl, this is one of the topics he wants to talk about.
But that's all good. If you haven't finished it, that's all good.
That's like 3 hours, bro.
But it's the most for me it was the 3 hours that like just I had all these like conceptions of how the government worked, and like, you know, I've always talked about corruption at the highest levels.
Was it really eye-opening to you though?
Dude, it was, dude. It not only eye-opening, I mean, I knew of Edward Snowden before that, and like all the stuff because he had written books. I hadn't read the books, like, you know, I just knew that he was one of the prime examples of whistleblowing, and it was just for me, I was like, because my parents, they're always like, oh, there's no corruption in America, like, look at how great it is.
That's what everybody outside the US thinks.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, wait, whoa, hold up, and then like I try to explain to them all this stuff, but it just for some reason just like goes over their head, because it's like, because for them it's like, if it's not the same type of corruption that goes on in India, they're like, I don't give a shit, like, right now, this is my problem in India, and it's solved here, so why should I care about it now? You know, like, but the thing is that, like, I was born here, and I know of the issues here.
It's just perceptions, like...
It's perception, you're right. And, like, and then sometimes I'm like, man, should I just be fucking grateful that, like, I'm not facing the same flipping shit that my parents were? Like, there is, like, in India, you know, like, when the attacks were happening on Sikhs, and, like, tens of thousands of people were getting killed, I was like, my dad and his family were just legit. It was like either pick up a gun or fight, or leave and try to find a better future.
Or get out,
Yeah, so it's like, and in one generation, my dad's been able to establish so many businesses, and you can't do that in any other country. So it's like, this country has its problems, but I would say that this is the best country in any given point in the world today, right now. That sounds crazy and ridiculous, but it's true.
I just feel like, again, it's perception. Like, it depends on where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you don't have the same problems. Like, okay, like, for example, you're in Honduras. Like, it's unsafe. Just, I mean, it's not, like, terrible, like some people paint it out to be. But, like, it's pretty scary, the things that you see here, like people getting killed in prisons and because of.
Well, how about this? How about for the listeners, give them a little bit of your grandfather's story. Give them a little bit about how he started, what he did, the business that he established, and what happened to him at the end of his life, if you don't mind.
Okay, so pretty famous guy here in Honduras, I would say. I mean, honestly, Karn, it's pretty impressive. Like,
yeah.
So, like I go to lunch with my wife's family pretty much every Saturday.
Yeah.
And her grandfather, he keeps telling me like, oh yeah, like I've heard story, like I heard like my grandfather was pretty famous, and he did this and this and this, and I mean some stories that I don't even know. It's crazy in that sense.
But you should be proud, dude. That's your lineage,
I know.
mind
I'm
you.
proud. I'm proud. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
it's impressive how many people actually knew of him and have stories of him.
Yeah.
Good or bad, but, like, I don't know. It's just,
I mean,
like,
I was impressed by it. I was like, that's a real fucking man of his time, dude. I was like,
yeah.
If there's, like...
So let me tell the story.
Yeah.
So he came from a family of 5 or 6 siblings, I think, something like that. In a pretty small town, a super rural area, like village, you could say. I think.
Yeah.
He finished. He got until 6th grade, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, no, I want to work. So he left when he was 16 or 17, I think, and he came all by himself to the capital.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I'm going to work and I'm going to make money and I'm going to get a better life for my family that comes after me. And that was his whole motivation,
At 16 or 17?
16. Yeah, I think it was 16. So, like...
It's young.
I don't think I've told you the story, the whole story, so you might learn something new today.
Yeah, facts, dude. I'm excited.
So he started working for this guy. I think he was... So here they call them Turcos, which come from Turks, but I don't know if they're actually Turks.
Yeah.
There's just this, like, if you are rich in Honduras, you're probably they call you Turco, but I don't know if they actually come from Turks or where they come from. But this guy had money, and he had a whole bunch of stores, like department stores, I think they were.
Yeah.
So my grandfather used to work for him, kind of move, like, transporting the product from wherever it would ship in and bring it to the capital, to the store, to this guy's store.
What was he transporting it in back in the day?
How was he?
Yeah, what was he using?
So from what I think, it was probably like this hippie van. Yeah, so listen to the story. I don't know, I might be wrong, but I think it was like that because so eventually, after a couple of years, this guy had to leave the country. I think his mom got sick or something, so he's like, I'm going back to my home country. I'm just leaving everything behind.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was like, when he found out, he's like, oh, would you sell me your Volkswagen van?
That's crazy, man.
And the guy's like, I'm just going to give it to you.
What?
And he gifted it.
Are you serious?
He gifted it to my grandfather. Yeah, he did.
Damn.
So it was this white and blue hippie van. And so he started doing, like, transporting people, like moving people around. I'm pretty sure at first it was just inside the city.
Yeah.
And that's how he founded his company, El Rey, the King. That was
El
literally
Rey.
his name.
Yeah,
El
boy.
Rey, yeah.
El Rey.
And so he was honestly, he was a visionary, I think, for back in the day. Like, because here in Honduras, it used to be to transport people from city to city. So San Pedro is the other big city here in Honduras. To move people between those two cities, they would, like, use cargo trucks and, like, weld seats on the back of it.
That's crazy.
And he was the first one who was like, no, we're going to bring, like, I wouldn't say fancy bus, but, like, the actual buses that are used, like the Greyhound bus.
Yeah.
Pretty much. To move people around.
So where did he
Yes.
get the idea of, or did he like look at other countries at the time and be like, yo, we need to implement this like now?
I mean, I don't know. Probably he was just like, that's gonna work here. Like, we gotta stop doing this. Like, he was like the mentality of like the client goes first. You know, like
That's good. That's good. I think it's crazy.
We gotta make them comfortable.
Yeah.
So he started like that, and then he just started opening like another type of service. You know, like, oh, he went with the first class.
Yeah.
Like, now you got AC, and that came later on though.
Correct.
But that's literally how he built his whole.
Where did he get his
empire,
first bus? Where did he get his first bus? Because that wasn't around at the time.
I mean, the first one was the hippie van bus.
No, but like the what, like when he first got the big ones. Where did he get this first big one? Or like where did he get his first chunk? Like, you know, like because I'm sure he had to expand at some point and be like, yo, okay, I need like 20 buses.
No, so he would actually, I don't know where the first ones came from. Probably Brazil.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because my dad and him eventually they would go on trips to Costa Rica too. Because they have a factory there. Costa Rica, Brazil, the States.
Did they take a flight there? How did they get there?
Yeah, they flew there. They would fly. I mean, there was later. Like, my dad was already born.
Yeah. Because I know your dad had a big hand in getting buses too.
Eventually, yeah. So I mean, so think about it. My grandfather, he started when he was 17, 18, let's say.
Okay.
With his first hippie van bus, and
hippie van, bro.
Yeah, it was legit. Because I'm telling you, so they got pictures. They have pictures of him in that first bus.
Yeah.
And when he died, they actually got like an old, not the same one, but like same year and everything, just without the engine.
Yeah.
And they took it on the whole caravan before taking him to the whatever, from the funeral to the burial place, I guess you could call it. I don't know.
Yeah. Damn,
that was pretty cool.
That's nice, dude. Fuck.
But
it's gotta be tough.
Yeah.
Though.
So what?
It's gotta be tough. Like, I mean, were you born when your grandfather passed away?
Yeah, I was. I think I was in 6th grade.
Oh, so you you still had.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah. So keeping on with the story.
Yeah. Keep going. Sorry. Yeah. Keep going with the story.
He had 7 kids, and then the older ones, they all worked with him.
Yeah.
For some point of their life, the first 4, the older guys.
Yeah.
They worked with him. He eventually kind of retired from work.
Yeah.
He would just go around. It was funny. He would just go around and visit my dad and my uncle at their places because they each eventually had their own company.
Yeah.
He would go on and visit them and my dad said like, oh, he was definitely bored at that point of not working. He would still get up at 5 a.m. and do everything, like go out on the road and whatever. And he would just go visit them like, hey, you got any problems? I can help you.
He sounds like a high functioning man, dude. I think that there's always these individuals, like especially successful individuals, they're just high functioning individuals.
Oh,
like,
yeah. They're so disciplined.
They're so disciplined.
That's the key. Like, discipline and hard work.
I think it's not only discipline. I think that I agree with you. There are some people that go off of discipline, but then there's some people who just have this hunger for just being better, you know? Like my dad doesn't necessarily, like my dad, I would say he's pretty successful. I don't think he has this idea of, what's it called? Like being disciplined. 'Cause like he has habits that he can't get rid of, you know? But then like he gets up every flipping morning at the crack of dawn, and he's getting his shit done because he has this drive of just wanting to always do more. It's that fucking drive, dude.
Yeah, it's just a drive, yeah.
But
he was pretty much like, I mean, eventually he kind of slowed down, and he just he turned into his hobbies, like just getting on this, just it's not
because he bought a plane too, didn't he?
A plane?
Yeah, because I saw like one of the pictures that I saw in your house was him standing by a plane. I was like, dude, this guy.
Oh, that was my other grandfather, though.
Oh, okay.
You're mixing it up. No, you're mixing it up.
I'm mixing it up. I don't think I've ever seen your grandfather. Have I seen him? He was a scary looking dude.
He passed away too.
Well, no, I'm saying like pictures of him.
Oh, of my dad's dad?
Yeah.
I don't think you have.
Maybe I
Probably
haven't.
not.
Maybe I'm thinking of this other dude, but
Yeah,
scary.
you're definitely
I'm
thinking
telling you,
of the
dude,
other one.
these old Hondurans, bro, they look scary as fuck. Even Allan, bro.
Okay. Don't.
If you know Allan, he has a solid RBF. All right. For all you
Okay, that's
people
true.
out
I'll
there,
give you that. The RBF
the
is
people that
strong.
don't
Yes.
know what a fucking RBF is, it's a resting bitch face. All right. And this motherfucker, when he's just like sitting there thinking, bro, it's the most hardcore resting bitch face you've ever seen in your life. I'm
Okay,
like,
just you.
good
That's.
God, bro. Good God.
It's just that I don't care about other people's opinions.
Yeah, no shit you don't, boy.
So that's why my RBF comes out.
And it's like
Pretty often.
even when you're studying, you just have this look. You're like, oh, bro, I'm gonna kill this
My
motherfucking
mom,
paper, bro.
my mom, every single day, like I'm at her place and I'm just watching TV and I'm focused on something.
Yeah.
She's like, "You've had that face since you were a baby." Like literally, just like super angry, super mad all the time. I'm like, I mean, I can't. I'm not mad. And like on the inside, I'm just like paying attention to something. And then she's like, "Oh, wow, that's the same like angry face you used to make when you were a baby, whatever." I'm like, okay.
This motherfucking guy, dude.
RBF since I was a kid.
All right, mate. Anyways, getting back to I love going off topic. Anyways, getting back to your grandfather one of the things that I'm inspired about is like how your grandfather set up for all your uncles and your dad. How much like different businesses that they were able to accomplish because of your grandfather, and that's still going on and sustaining.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. So my oldest uncle, he worked with him for a little bit, and then he moved to the States in '95. Yeah. So long time ago. And I mean,
I was born in '95, boy.
Yeah, me too. So,
that's crazy.
But he just forgot about everything. Not forgot, but like he's like, okay, I'm leaving everything behind. I'm just going to the States, looking for a better life, whatever.
Yeah.
Then the second one, he's like, oh, he's super intellectual, honestly, and got super good education. Not the States, but even like from Nicaragua or something. There's like this international university called INCAE. It's like for business people. He got there. He's super intellectual, and then he worked with like in the transportation business for a little bit, but then he just dipped out real quick.
Yeah.
And then my dad, he's the one who actually loved it. Like, I mean, he's still doing this.
Yeah.
And then from that, he's had open business, closed them for whatever reason, here and there, whatever.
Yeah.
And then then the fourth one is like he's in Italy now. He had a Bojangles here in Honduras and in Roatan actually. He set up one there, and then one in the States, and then he moved to Italy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy to think how like from this one, like my grandfather, like everything that comes down.
Yeah.
After him, like we've got.
You're sort of reaping. You're reaping the rewards now.
Yeah,
from his hard work a little bit,
and it just comes from his hard work. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's just like one of the I don't know. Like I'm inspired by those stories because it's like these people, they had the drive, they wanted to get a better life, and not only that, but they were looking out for people like their own family, and I think that there's huge respect in that. You know, like when my grandfather, the last conversation I had with my grandfather right before he passed away, he's like, I want each one of my grandchildren to have like 1,000 acres of land. You know, that was a big thing back in the day.
That was his drive. Like, that was his like
correct
motivation for every day getting up and doing his hard work. Because you told me like he did like super hard work.
Yeah, he would.
Every single day, pretty much.
It was crazy, man. It was like, you know, like you will not see this today anymore, I feel like, but he would get up at 6, you know, 6 a.m., come back at 6 p.m., and by the time he was in his 60s, you could see all his joints, like from his knuckles to his big, you know, his knuckles up here, his shoulders, his knees. They were so, what's it called? Swollen. You could see his joints were so swollen that like you won't see that today because it's like his joints were bigger than his muscles because they had been in use for so long.
I feel like that's so that's a super interesting like topic that I think about. Like, you know how back in the day was like actual physical hard work.
Yeah.
nowadays you still got people who are like that. They'll like wake up every single day super early in the morning, go to bed super late, working hard, but it's more like computer, being in front of the desk.
It's different, dude. I think that not only that, but I think my grandfather's mental health was a lot better. Like, I can do the same thing now, and my mental health is gone in shitstorm because I think that humans are meant to sort of like use their body towards work in some fashion, you know, like I don't think we're meant to sit in a fucking cubicle.
Oh, definitely not.
And you know, not
but
and
you know,
it's
you know, so
crazy.
listen to me, Carl. This is a topic like I actually want to get your opinion on this.
Yeah.
You know how like society nowadays, I feel like our generation, whatever the millennials or whatever we are, especially the ones after us, it's like, okay, you gotta value work, but at the same time, I feel like it's a lot more chill in the sense of like, what do you want to make money for? Make money to travel and have a good life and stuff like that, but not like
I think that
I'll our grandfathers who did it for their generations. You know, like that's a conflict. I have in myself. Like, okay, so I want to work a lot. I want to make money and you know, have my kids and like allow them to have a good life. But then at the same time, I also want to enjoy that life because I feel like my grandfather probably didn't enjoy that.
True.
Whatever he worked for, you know, like, but definitely not with his grandkids. Because like with me, like I barely talked to him. Or saw him, you know. So that's like
I'll give you two reasons why I think the number one, obviously the times are different, right? But number two, I think that it had a lot to do with your you know, how much you loved this quiet love that you have for your family, like, you know. And another thing is like, you know, you don't know if like, what if the life that your grandfather lived, he's like, I enjoy this. This is what I love. This is what I do. Like, I asked my grandfather, like my grandfather, he never, and I'll tell you this right now, he never left his village. He never slept in another bed outside his village. He just didn't want to travel. He didn't want to go anywhere. The only thing he wanted to do was make sure that his land was all good to go. His family was well kept. It's just like,
their brains were wired different too. Correct. And that's obviously about like,
and it's about information. It's about information. It's like how much like he never knew that a world like this existed outside of the world that he was living in, right? Like if you don't know that information, you don't want to really go see it. And I can see his point of view too, because like I don't know about you, but I'm not a big traveler, bro. Like I like to go travel, but like if I travel more than a week, I'm like, I want to be back. I don't want to fucking be anywhere. I don't want to go anywhere. I'm like, fuck this shit.
Definitely not like that, but yeah.
But like I just can't. Like I don't know if it's like a genetic thing or if like, you know, it's just a cultural thing, however it is, but like my dad likes it, but my mom doesn't. I don't know if that's from my mom, but like whatever it is, and I understand my grandfather. It's like I just want to know that my shit is straight within my own home. And that's another thing, Alan. Like I think their values were very different. Like, you know, I'll give you an example. Like, you know, when we value stuff, I'm like, number one is like God. Number two is his people. Number three is finances. I think for them, it was like finances first. Second to God is everything else, right? And
you're right. You're actually right.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like once you sit and there's nothing wrong with that, man. There isn't. I have to say, like, because the thing is that at the end of the day, if you have your finances straight, you can help a bunch of people. You can get other people straight, and you can help out your family at the same time, and like do whatever because the thing is that, let's say, you know, your church is in need of some money so they can build a side school, you know, where are they going to get that money from? They're going to get that money from people who are religious, but at the same time that crave money. That's what I'm saying, dude. I can't sit here and be like, that's a bad thing to go for. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad, he takes his money and he donates it to a bunch of people that, you know, they can't afford to get married, to have like extravagant weddings. He helps out like little poor orphans who can't go to school. And like, I'm like, but at the same time, my dad has this drive for wanting more and more money. I think that like, yeah, it is. You can become evil along the way, but I wouldn't say that's everybody, dude. That just,
I know.
It doesn't correlate.
But what do you think about our generation, though? do you think?
I think that I think that you're gonna think this is where I think that our generation is fed too much information. I think that our generation is given so much information that we cannot sit down and conclusively come to an end on any thought. We just have so many that we're like,
that is true.
We get lost in all these thoughts. We're like, oh, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do that, maybe I want to do this. Like, I think there's something like I'll give you one example, right? Like, when I was younger, they would be like, chase your dreams, chase whatever the fuck you want to do, right? But the thing is that as a fucking child,
I love how you say that, Carn. Your sarcasm.
Bro, it's true though. But like, like as a child, your attention span is like for a few minutes. Like, if you were to take this one, I was like, when I was younger, I was like, oh, I want to be a scientist. I don't care what it takes. I want to be a scientist. But it's like, I don't know what it takes to do all that, right? Or like, there's just, I think that right now it's like, you need to teach children, like, hey, you pick a thought, go for it, try it out, and finish it. Like, fucking finish it. Like, whatever it is.
Like people are like, oh, you want to change, do it. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, like I would encourage children, like, yo, stop going after, like, oh, go try this out, go try, like, no, I'm not, like, go do it, go try it out for sure, but, like, don't go after ridiculous dreams.
Eventually.
Correct, like, and try to have a plan, like, have a fucking plan on how you're going to, I think that's the most important thing. If you have an idea, then start by a step-by-step plan as to how you're going to accomplish it.
So I actually, the other day, I don't know where it came from, honestly. I heard this, I don't even remember who it was, just saying, like, the first thing you have to do is just to find success for yourself.
Facts. That's really good.
Like,
that's
what
really good.
is success to you? Like,
yeah, that's really good.
Because that varies from person to person. So,
it does.
And then go after that.
Yeah.
You know?
Another, you remind me of, I was reading I don't know if you know Jordan Peterson.
No.
He's a clinical psychologist or psychiatrist. It's one of the two. But he sort of like, he got a lot of our young generation to come back and like take like old values and implement them in your life. He's like, when you wake up, like, get your room straight. That's how you keep your mind straight. Like, and he's like, he brings in these old concepts of like chivalry and like, like he's like, first get your shit straight, then once you can do that, then you can help out your family, because then you can get your family shit straight. And then he's like, and if you have enough to take in, and if you then you can help out your community. He very much propagates the idea of like, get your, and that's very important in today's day and age, dude. It's like, and the reason why I'm saying this is because like from there he also points out like, hey, build a plan, like build what you want to be, what are the steps to take you to the success. But then on the other hand, he also points out like, define a hell. What is the worst possible thing that you think is the worst, and then try to avoid that.
Yeah.
Take the steps to avoid that. And I think that's super smart. It's like, what do you think that's going to be the worst possible thing for you? Right? What is it going to be?
Yeah.
Now take the steps to avoid that.
Yeah.
I think that's what is needed in today's generation. I think that the old generation had that down. They had problems. They were like, yo, I definitely don't want to end up like this, so I'm going to take the steps to avoid that shit. And I think that's how their success came about.
I honestly feel like, especially my generation, like we're very accommodated to what we have.
Yep. Yeah, we were
born. Yeah. We were born with so much, to be honest, that we're like, okay, I'm good like this, and we just settle.
Yep.
And just keep, and we don't move up the chain, if you want to say it like that. Yeah. But then, that's again my debate. Like,
should you want that? Should you want that? Do you want that? Do you want more?
Exactly. That's the
thing. Do you want more?
I do, but at the same time, like, it's just like, I know I gotta put in the work.
Yeah.
And all that, and wow, like even my dad, like he's worked for so long,
Yeah.
But then I also want to enjoy it, and that's like I feel like getting that balance is so hard, especially now.
It is, yeah. And I don't know, man. It's getting, and maybe like I have this pessimistic idea. I always think that, man, it was probably easier for them But that's not true. I don't think it was. I
every
really don't think it was, dude.
generation, like,
It was
yeah,
much harder, and
yeah,
but that's the thing. You try just to justify your living and your status. You blame other things. I think that's a big issue that we have. Is like
that is true.
this
Yeah.
this
the other thing.
victimized sensation. Like, you know, like I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, my father had it easy when he first came here, so. Yeah, so it's like now it's harder for me because of this, and this. Like I'm creating a victim of myself, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm not trying to think of opportunities. I'm trying to think of what's been stopping me from taking these opportunities, and then I focus on that.
That's such a big, like, I don't know, society in general. Everybody's so like okay with what we.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't looking from the. Like looking the picture from the outside, it's like I don't blame people. Like,
yeah,
you think about it in terms of technology, you know, like what else can we do? Like, we're so far ahead. What are you gonna come up with that's so new, so great?
Yeah. But that's where the beauty lies, so Alan. I think people can, you know, I think that every generation has said this. It's like, what's gonna be the next big thing? What are you gonna do next? You know,
yeah, that's true.
They always ask that, but then when the next thing comes, it's like, what's the next? What is going to be the next? We can't figure out the next big thing. You know, it's like, but just do something weird, man. Just go fucking out and try it. And if it works out, it works out. The thing is that it's timing and it's opportunity. And if you can, if you can put in the work to create that opportunity, bro, then that's it. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought that gaming would have been like a multi-million-dollar adventure?
Ridiculous. I feel like that's
ridiculous.
That's so ridiculous.
And like,
ridiculous.
and you're gonna think I'm crazy, but you know how I started playing League of Legends? So I started watching some of these games. Dude, they're intense, bro.
You're trying to make
they're
money
intense,
that
bro.
part.
I know, I'm not trying to make money. No, not at all. I'm just saying.
That's what Victor used to play, huh?
Yeah, bro. Honestly, he was the one. I'm like, bro, you know, Victor's so smart. I guarantee he probably got his smartness from playing that stupid game. So I'm gonna start anyways, too.
I don't know.
You know, I've mentioned Victor in all episodes. I think this is gonna make him so happy that we mention him again.
He's just so incredibly, I don't know. Victor is so Victor.
Yeah, Victor is just incredible Victor, dude. That's it. Yeah. That's why I keep bringing him up. It's like, you know, I wish I'd spent more quality time with the guy, for sure. He's actually going to come up here and visit me. I think he said, like, next summer, yeah. But yeah, dude, he's just incredible.
He was just one of a kind, I feel like. He's just like...
Yeah.
From our generation, he was definitely the...
He never complained, and that's what I enjoyed. I think that's what was refreshing about. He did complain, but like not about the same shit that everybody else was complaining about.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
That's what was kind of refreshing about him. I'm like, you know, this motherfucker, he doesn't necessarily complain about the same shit, and he has a different outlook on life. He tries to, I don't know what it is about him, dude. It's just something about him, bro.
He's just on a whole new level, Karn.
He's a new level, bro. That's what it is.
He's gonna get places, and you know that.
For sure.
We talked about it during college. Like, he's gonna get places.
He's gonna get places, bro. And I just hope.
Definitely.
I'm definitely gonna get him on the podcast at some point before he gets famous, and then like after he gets famous too. So it's like,
that's their boy. Your most popular show.
Yeah, bro.
The Victor Wong interview.
The long-awaited Victor Wang episode, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is right now, boy.
I feel like that is true though. Yeah, he's gonna do big things.
I'm gonna tell you, dude. When I was younger, I was like, dude, these Asians, they got powers, bro. They're hella smart. All right, they invented and they came up with a lot of the fighting styles. I'm like, they can take over the world at any minute, bro. All right, you don't want to fuck with them.
They are, and they slowly are. I feel like they're everywhere. They're even here in Honduras now, bro. Like,
wait, be very careful. He's not Chinese. He's Taiwanese, bro.
It's the same thing.
Oh shit, dude! Whichever Taiwanese / Chinese is listening in on this, this is controversial, bro. It's like I'll give you an example. It's like calling you Mexican, bro.
I know. Well.
See?
No, it's not as far as that. It's
same.
Not as far as that.
Same, bro. It's same.
I know that's a big issue though. I know it's a big issue.
But I feel
like even the countries are splitting because they have to pick a side, Taiwan or China.
I think so. What it was?
Honduras picked Taiwan, Costa Rica picked China, and they got a nice soccer stadium because of that.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, I did not know that.
Honduras got
Interesting.
nothing.
Esson? There
Yeah.
we go.
That was a long time ago too. Like I don't know, like maybe 6 years ago. But yeah, it's a pretty nice
I
state.
did not know that. Like China
The
and
best in
Taiwan was
Central
like
America.
fucking. They were like pretty
Oh
much
yeah,
trying to
the
gain
government-
countries
the
like
government has
fucking.
to- yeah. Oh, they are because Taiwan is trying to get like they're trying to get like validation from other countries. I don't know what they're trying to do. Independence, is that what they want?
Well, no. The thing is that here I'll give you a little bit of history. That as far as I know, so there was like two kings like battling it out, and like the one king that had lost, like they fled to Taiwan, and because they didn't want to be a part of their people or whatever it was. Maybe I might be completely wrong. It might just be gibberish jargon that I'm saying, but
You should wait till Victor gets there and for the.
you know what?
podcast.
I'll actually ask him about what is the big deal and what is it that because I have a Taiwanese guy that works with me at Microsoft, and he was the one that sort of gave me this history a little bit, and he was like, yeah, there was a king that was duking it out, and these two guys that and like the king that had lost had left, and they wanted to be their own people because there was a significant amount of people at the time that wanted to not be a part of whatever it was, and that's what's been going on now till this day. And that the weird thing is, Alan, like, and I'll tell you another thing, like now working and like working with a bunch of these vendors and a bunch of these suppliers in China. So all these like there's regions within China, like the north, south, east, and west, they don't like to work with each other.
Really?
Yeah, so like let's say you have a supplier.
Think in the future they're gonna split and like.
I don't know what
Like
it
a
is.
Soviet
There's a
Union
very
kind of style?
there's no. So there's a very like brittle. And this is the same thing that's going on in India. Like India, like at first when they had gotten all together, it was like 6 or 7 regions that they had to convince and like not even convince. They had to fucking suppress into agreeing that we are gonna be one unit just because of the fact that we are strong together.
I mean, that happened in the States too, with
the Civil War and
the states from Mexico.
Yeah, and that makes every country's gone through similar situations, but like now that it's coming on media, it's coming up. It's a little bit more controversial, but I think that like mainland China, like within, they don't like to cooperate with each other. Like there's like let's say so that we have people that inspect the parts, and then there's people who actually manufacture the parts. When they send it over, they always have fucking issues because they don't like each other. Like it's a shit show down there, bro. We hear about it all the time.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Like you learn so much about like the North, and they all have their own like their own culture, foods, and like how they're all a little bit different.
I mean, it's so big. It's such a big country. Like think about it in the States too. Like you go to the east, you go to the west. It's like a totally different world.
It is completely. Yeah, you're right. It is completely different. That's completely different. But yeah, that's and the same thing in India. Like there's so like Sikhs, like most Sikhs don't to this like most and in mainland Sikhs don't want to be a part of India. They're like, fuck you, we wanna get away. But then the conversation comes in like, cause Punjab's been like slowly they've been taking off land. So like the land of Punjab, what it was like 40 years ago, is like a quarter of the size.
So they've been reducing it.
Yeah, so it's like, and then so the argument comes in like, so if we're gonna take Punjab now and today, how the hell are we gonna survive? We don't have a water source. We don't have like, because they stole our river. Like Punjab. The reason why it's called Punjab is because of the land of the 5 rivers, and we barely have like 1 or 2, if that. And then there's other states stealing that one river, and they're cutting it off. They're poisoning it.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's a big debate. It's like even if we do secede from India, I don't think we're gonna be very successful. Yeah, I like from a political standpoint, I don't think so.
I just feel like you're not technologically advanced enough to get water or resources from some other ways.
Nope, we are not. Nope, we're all farmers for the most point. Like that's the thing. We're dependent upon water, and they know that, and they know that we're all farmers for the most point. And it's like, yeah, back in the day, farmers, we were fucking kings, bro. We were doing really well, but
back in the day, that was like the
lifestyle
currency per se, like
but
it's crazy.
But yeah, man, it's great. It's crazy stuff. So, anyways, yeah, man, yeah, shit. This was such an intense topic. I don't know how to lead into the next one.
It re- it'll ties. It all goes with each other though. Like everything we've talked about.
Yeah,
Pretty much power.
so far, yes, yes, so far. I've tried very hard, and
it's so hard to get away from it.
It's hard to get.
That's like the number one.
Yeah.
News you see pretty much every single day.
Yo.
It's all about power.
Anyways, now we're gonna completely diverge off of that. One thing I really wanted to ask you, actually, my wife was wondering if you were still using the headphones I gifted you.
I mean, I don't use them daily, but I do.
How do you feel about them? How's the performance holding up?
It's okay. So,
wait, tell them what they are. Tell them which ones they are first.
Okay. So, Karen's gift for my wedding was the Neura headphones.
Neura. Go look it up, please. Neura headphones.
Neura headphones.
Yeah.
Their technology is pretty cool. How they scan your ear, your hearing, or something like that.
Intense.
And then they create a profile for you.
Yeah.
So the music sounds different
for everybody
through those headphones,
yeah.
and it's actually so true. Like,
yeah.
So there was this concert, this group that came here to Honduras. So I was listening to their music, and I mean, for a concert, I like to get ready, listen to their albums, whatever, for like a whole month before, so I know every single lyric.
Yeah.
And I listen to it on my crappy headphones for the most part, just because those things are so big, they're so hard to carry around. But
they're heavy,
that's the only
aren't
problem
they?
with them.
They're heavy.
Yeah, they are. They are. But so I listen to the music on like crappy headphones, and then like my Sony headphones. I don't know if you remember them. They're like studio headphones. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I put on the newer headphones, and it was like you still get like
it's a world of difference.
I would listen to new things with those headphones. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and that's so interesting.
Like, what do you mean by new things? Like, you would find out like these new these new sounds, or?
Yeah, like it depends on the song. You could probably listen to like a little instrument here and there that you wouldn't notice otherwise.
Yeah.
Or a different beat that just the background noises,
Yeah.
It's so crazy, and that what's most crazy to me to think about is like your hearing profile. You know how like it has yours and mine were totally different. And
the another thing you have to take into account is like the left and the right ear, they were unique.
Yeah.
They weren't just unique by like whatever you find in one ear setting you use it for both. No, it's like it's unique by each eardrum and for each person. So I was
it's so crazy how different people have different hearing profiles.
Yeah, dude.
Like you wouldn't think about that, you know.
They were the first ones.
That makes me wonder if different people have different vision.
Oh, interesting.
See colors in a different way or something like that. I don't know. Oh,
I actually never thought about that. Yeah, you could see orange as a brighter orange, but I wouldn't know that. What's the name of
that? I don't know if it's a disease, but like some people mix up the colors. What's
colorblind?
Colorblind, yeah. It's a completely different word in Spanish. That's why I wasn't I totally forgot about that. It's like daltónico in Spanish, so it's like nothing like colorblind.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that like the same tone of green, how you could see it as darker and I could see it as lighter. I don't know. That's crazy.
That's true. Actually, I never thought about that. Yeah. Who who out of the human population sees the darkest green? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's so, I've been setting up my little home office. So I was looking at monitors.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's different color profiles. And they say like, oh, this monitor has the truest color, the most 100% real colors. And I'm like, who defines that?
I think what they do is they take like the darkest and the lightest of whatever color profile it is, and they find what's the sharpest for the common population, and then they sort of
I don't know. It's so weird because think about it. Even cameras, they have different. Like you take a picture with whatever a Sony and then a Canon, and they have different colors. Like you can actually tell the difference in like the tones. I don't know.
But that's
weird.
that's okay. Wait, hold up. I think that's like what's it called? Because they have software inside the camera that like that generates these photos. You know that, right? Like,
I know, but I mean,
and they're all unique. Like if you take the Google Pixel 4, like the best Google Pixel 4 right now, and you take the iPhone
from the iPhone
11, you know, you could see the color contrast. Yeah,
like that probably happens in humans too.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I mean, if you have hearing profiles, well, when you have,
you're right. You're actually very you're correct.
Because one of the most interesting things with the newer headphones was like I know you love bass.
Oh yeah, bro! I fucking love bass, boy.
And when I actually looked at your profile, it was like super bassy.
Yeah.
Compared to mine.
And I'll tell you, I think there's a reason for. I think I've ruined my ears with like listening over to headphones with like super high bass. So like.
Yeah, but I don't think the way this headphones scan your ear would affect if you have damage in your ears or not.
Oh, so you're saying that I'm still curious on that technology. I'm very curious in the sense that like, what the fuck are they measuring? How do they know your perfect hearing profile?
And if they're making the newer buds or something like that, they're smaller, like in-ear headphones or whatever.
And there's this whole race for headphones now too. Like Microsoft is doing it.
Oh yeah.
Apple came like I don't know if you know. Oh no, Bose just very recently came out with what's it called? I wrote it down. It's the Bose 700 Silence.
Yeah, the 700. Yeah,
bro,
they're like the new.
Those things look dope, bro.
They do. Yeah,
they look dope.
I mean,
okay,
they're crazy.
One side note I want to point out: if you go look at the advertisement on Instagram, it's this black woman that's like wearing the headphones, and it's like literally almost down to her fucking neck. Like you could see part of her ear being exposed. Bose, get your fucking shit straight. Can you not use like proper advertisement? What? Yeah, go look it up, dude. Like it's literally like the headphones are down. It's like almost like covering more of the neck than it is the ear.
Bose advertisement.
I'm not even gonna look it up. It's so funny, dude. Let me see. Bose
advertisement. What for the 700s?
Yeah. Let's see if it comes up. Bose 700. Let's see. It's this like black girl in a train, and let me see. Bose. It's just so funny, dude. I was like, this is ridiculous. I swear to God, they could have done better advertisement. Like, at least make it look fucking realistic, mate. Advertisement. I don't think it's gonna. I saw it on Insta.
Yeah.
But
let's see.
On train.
Bose advertisement 700 Instagram.
Here, I'll send you the video if I find it. But it was just.
Oh, it's a video.
Yeah. It was sort of a video. It might only be the Instagram. Oh, there it is. I found it. Here.
Send it to me. Send me that.
Yeah. It's so. Here, actually, oh dang it, dude! I wish I could. Actually, yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna pick up the camera and just show it on at least for my viewers. Hold up.
Connor, you can do that in post.
Oh, I can just post it, couldn't I?
Yeah, just edit it later on in when you're editing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so, I think I found it.
Okay, go to if you find it's a 30-second clip, go to like 18. Go to second 18.
Oh no, I didn't. I couldn't find it. No, never mind. Sorry.
Okay, shit, bro, this is too funny. I don't know why that's the first thing that I saw. I was like, what the hell are these guys doing, bro? Here, I'll paste the link. Let me know when you can see it.
But yeah, I just feel like I don't know.
I was just like, why, dude? Why, like why couldn't you make it look more realistic?
Let me see. I got him here.
So funny.
I spotted me.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's gonna go like the first 10 seconds is going to the dumb train and it'll take stairs or whatever.
Okay, I see the girl.
Look at how low it is, bro. Her ears are not down on her neck, bro.
I don't see it, Connor. I feel like you. I get it. I see it.
You see it?
I mean, different head sizes, Karn.
Okay, bro. Okay, if any logical fucking individual looks at it, it's just like I think she's trying to protect her hair is what it looks like, and it like
It's kind of what it looks like.
yes, like you can see it.
Like
you can see the hair's puffed
from
out
from the wind or from the coldness.
Yeah,
or something like that.
whatever it is, it's just the headphone placement does not look right. Right?
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Right.
And you can see part of the ear. You can see the upper ear in that video.
You're right.
But
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, dude, it's just like anyways going back to a lot of these companies now, like because these are $400 headphones, and
they're expensive.
They're expensive.
I'm telling you, I don't even know how much do they sell them because, like, let's be honest, not everybody can pay $400 for a pair of headphones.
But whoever can, that's a good market, Alan. Like the Neura headphones were also $400 when I but I paid $300 for them.
A completely different thing, though.
That's true. Neura is just for pure performance. That's like performance. It's like the Rolls Royce of headphones is what that was.
The like Bose headphones, they've been $300 for like the past 8 years at least. They're top of the line.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, is it that big of a market for? Microsoft has their Surface headphones.
Yeah.
Bose has their own. Yeah. Sony has their own. Beats has their own.
Yeah.
Skull Candy. It's crazy.
I don't like Skull Candy that much. I don't know why.
Yeah, they're trash. They're trash.
But even these ones you got me, like the what's it called? V-Modas. V-Modas are great, and they're also jacking up their prices too.
They're super expensive too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, is it that big of a market? I don't think so, honestly.
I think what's happening, Alan, is that there's because of the inflation in the dollar, they can afford it. Like they're gonna have to push the prices up at some point, you know. And I think they've just chosen this to be the time. Once one company does it, once one major company does it, all others follow.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing.
I mean, look at the iPhone being $1,000. That was so unthinkable back in the day, and now like the Pixel's $1,000. And let's be honest, the Pixel's not that good of a phone.
Have you tried? Wait, which one do you have right now?
I have a Pixel 3a, so that's like their budget version for their last model. And I can tell you right now, like camera, great, amazing.
Yeah.
But this phone, sometimes it's so frustrating, Karn. I can even like. So you know how like when you get a DM from Facebook, I don't know, inbox message, whatever.
Yeah.
Like if it's a link, every single time it will ask me, do you want to set this like to open the app every single time or open it on Chrome? It's like I've done it so many times. Go to the settings and setting up is like open the app every single time.
Well, that's
and every single time I get the same question.
That's a nuisance.
It's ridiculous. Bro. It's ridiculous, bro. So that's what I'm saying. Like iPhone in that sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, man. It's very hard. Like now, Microsoft is soon going to be competing in the phone market.
With the Neo.
The Neo.
Is it the Neo?
Yeah, I can finally say, guys, go check out Microsoft Neo. I've been working on that product. I can't say specifically exactly what I've been working on, but I can at least say that I've been working on it. Go check it out.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
To be honest, I feel like the Microsoft phones were crap.
Oh, yeah, utter shit, bro. Shit.
They came out when we started college. I'm pretty sure, like that was the year they came out.
Oh yeah, no, they were garbage, bro. Garbage. Oh God.
And now, like,
the dual screen thing, like, was I think like getting an extended screen was started by Samsung, but that was a flop just because like it was so expensive. Yeah, with the one continuous screen, but. But I think Microsoft is hitting
two individual screens.
Yeah, and that's
they're
where
not connected.
Yeah, and we were having a discussion about this when just recently that like Microsoft has been like pretty much like lagging behind Apple. Like you could tell that whatever Apple was putting out, they were like one step behind.
Everybody was lagging.
Everybody was lagging, but
ever
now
since the iPod came out, everybody is behind.
Everybody's behind, correct. And I think that now Microsoft put out the Neo and the Duo. I think that that's what takes them to the next step. You know, and not only that, but
it's like a complete different design.
Correct. And even within like the org, you could tell like there were, so when they first put it out, there were a lot of Microsoft senior designers who went to the it was like, you know, where they were introducing it, like the Times, the Washington Post was there. Everybody, these big motherfuckers were out there, and like some of the Apple designers were out there, and like the Apple designers wanted to know some of the engineering behind these little components, you know, like the hinge that's between the two screens and whatnot. Like they were very curious, you know, and I don't know, that makes me happy for sure, because it's like, how did you guys, when they ask questions like, how did you guys accomplish that? I was like, whoa, you know.
I feel like you're in such a... It's so cool, Carl. Honestly, like the position you're in right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know, man. Like, I do like it, but at times it does get like, you know, repetitive, but that happens with every job. That you can't avoid.
I mean, yeah. I just feel like it's so cool the position you're in. Like you already know what's gonna come out. Because I would consider myself like I'm a fan of technology in general, like that sort of technology, like headphones,
for sure, phones,
computers. Like I don't know. I mean, I don't really know the little like components stuff.
Yeah.
I know quite a bit, and it's just like to think about it. Like I was impressed when they came up with the Neo and the Duo or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, I was working in that. I was like.
Oh yeah, you were, from your perspective, you're probably blown away. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, and you're like, oh yeah, I knew that was gonna come out. I was like, oh.
I do. I guess from that point of perspective, like I've never thought about it that way. I'm like, because I am one step ahead from within the org.
Like, from like, because it's Microsoft, you're competing against Apple. It's not like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
you're
Samsung,
not I mean, I'm just comparing it to other jobs. Like, what do you want to compare it to? A camera. I mean, like a basic camera, like a Canon camera. Like nobody really cares about that much. But like the iPhone, like and whatever the computer that's gonna come out, like your guys' Surface Laptop 3, it's been a huge thing with the 15-inch and all that crap.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's so cool to actually know. Like honestly, I don't know how you keep it to yourself, because I couldn't.
It's hard, dude. Because the thing is that like if I don't, I get fired. You know.
I know. But
and not only fired, because they could. Cause it's not just about getting fired. It's like, you know, because they could put you in jail and then they'll fine you a shit ton of money too. So
it's a secret. Like
it's a secret because you signed to that shit, dude. There's a bunch of things that you signed to. It's not. Yeah, it's not.
I couldn't. That would be so hard for me to contain myself.
Yeah.
Because you can ask my wife, like when we were dating and I had like a surprise for her, she would always know.
Yeah.
Because I'm just that bad at keeping secrets.
Yeah. I get you, bro. I get you.
So,
but
it would be so hard for me.
It's all good, man. I'm trying to get you. By the way, I'm trying to get him out here. Trying to get him going on something.
I'm starting to apply to Canada.
Dude, that's awesome. Please just come to Canada too.
Vancouver.
Come to the Vancouver area, bro. Vancouver's dope. I mean, I wouldn't live in Canada because you're pretty much taking an oath to be under the Queen, but I would love for you to be there.
I don't really care about that. But so there's this Netflix show that just came out called. Let me look it up real quick. It's called. Hold up. Oh crap!
Did you watch that new season of Peaky Blinders, boy?
I know.
That's so good, bro. So good.
It was...
Man.
I mean, honestly, I hated how they left us in such a cliffhanger.
I know!
But I knew it was coming.
Yeah. They're getting popular.
They like to do that, because when you look at the previous seasons...
Yeah. They do that a lot.
That's how they would end them.
Season 2 was a huge cliffhanger, homeboy.
Yeah, it was.
I
actually saw the whole thing all over again before watching.
No way.
Yeah, I did.
Alan, wait. Let's hold up. Let's calculate. So hold up. You spent every season has how many episodes? Like 8?
6. 6. It's just 6. Yeah.
So let's say like that's 7 hours of television.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I would literally spend like all nighters, kind of just sleep like 2 hours just to finish. I would finish the season a day, pretty much.
Bro, you're nuts, bro.
I just wanted to.
That's at least 35. Is that 30? Wait, how many seasons do they have?
It's this was the 5th
So
season.
it's 35 hours.
Yeah, 4 times 6. Yeah.
My god.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I know, but my brother, like, he did the same thing. He was the one who told me, like, "Oh yeah, are you gonna do it?" I'm like, I wasn't thinking about it, but sure, I'll do it now.
It's so easy to convince you too. You're like, oh,
okay, don't even.
Okay.
You're the same way, Clark.
Oh, I know.
Like,
I know.
Just one episode, and then like who would finish the whole season in a day too? Like, don't even say I'm not. I'm like, it's so easy to get you, Alan.
I know. I think we watched every single season together except for this last one.
Except for the last one, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they took forever to do it. And I feel like they're going to take like 2 years to do the next one, too.
I know, dude. I was like, God.
That's what pisses me off.
They take a whole year, at least a year. At least a year.
Yeah, at least. So,
but their production is so good, bro. Their production is amazing.
It really is.
Actors to, their, like wherever they do it, they spend a lot of money doing it, man. So I got to.
Okay, so you're a Harry Potter fan, too, right? Like the Harry Potter movies,
a little bit,
I think.
Yeah.
So Polly?
Yeah.
She is in the Harry Potter too.
I did not know that. Wait, what is she?
She's Malfoy's mom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And you know who is her husband in real life?
Who?
The captain for Band of Brothers.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Because I'm watching a show which I think you would like. It's called Billions, and that guy's the main character.
What's it called? Billions?
Billions, yeah. It's on Netflix. You should watch it.
Billions, all right.
It's all about, like, buying stocks and stuff like that, and how they, like, illegally pretty much control the stock. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, bro, they're probably going like how a bunch of the rich people, they took out the money out of the company, they deflated the price and.
Exactly, yeah, how they control everything, yeah. That's exactly what it's about.
Gang, boy.
It's pretty good.
You should. That's another thing because they mentioned the stock market in the new season of Peaky Blinders too. Yeah, like these motherfuckers.
They talk about the crash.
Yeah. The first crash.
And you know what's crazy to think about?
Yeah.
In that show, Tommy actually knew what's gonna happen, and he was like tell everything beforehand.
That motherfucker has information that nobody else can get to, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Facts.
He's so smart. But whatever. The show I was telling you about is breakfast. It's called Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
So
I thought you were talking about Billions. Hold on.
No. He's a chef, and so he picks like a famous person, to take him around a city, like their home city or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the first episode was with Seth Rogen in Vancouver.
Oh really?
Canada. Yeah.
Oh dang.
So it was after that I was like, yeah, I want to move to Canada. Like, I could live there. I
don't honestly. To me, it's just the tax, man. The fucking insane amount of taxes you have to pay to live in Canada is just.
Really.
I can't. Like it's.
But just, I mean, as an international, it's so much easier to get a visa there too.
Correct. If you can somehow get to Canada and then somehow make your way to the United States, I want to get you here, bro. I want to get you and your family here.
We'll see. We're trying to work our way.
Dude, we're gonna work that business world, and we're gonna rip a new one in the United States, bro. You feel me? Brown boys are gonna come over and fucking take over, my boy.
Okay.
All right, homeboy. I think we're hitting almost fucking 2 hours and 2 minutes.
2 hours, bro.
All right. Thank you so much for doing this, homeboy. I still have topics that we didn't go over, which happens in every podcast, but definitely gonna have you back on again. Gonna explain, some of the drug lord shit that's been going down there. You know what I'm saying? Next time for sure.
Yeah.
We'll leave a little cliffhanger. We're gonna leave a little cliffhanger for the motherfuckers today. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, yeah, thank you for doing this. Thank you for all the listeners, and thank you for tuning in. This was a beautiful episode. Been a little sick. I've had a little headache during this, but I love doing this, and tune in for more. Deuce, baby.